Okay, KAWP podcast listeners, I'm here today with Mr. Ryan Velez. Ryan is the co-owner of Chess Performance in Louisville, Kentucky, and he is also a national master in the game of chess. Ryan, thank you very much for being with us today.
Yep, thank you for having me on.
Um, Obviously, there has been an uptick in the popularity of chess because of Netflix's series, The Queen's Gambit, and I've watched all of it. Have you, by chance, seen it?
Yes, I have watched it end to end, actually fairly recently, maybe 2 weeks ago.
And what would be your thoughts on the accuracy of Queen's Gambit?
I think it's very accurate in a lot of ways. From the chess player perspective, I relate to the character Beth Harmon a lot. One of the most simple ways that they got this relationship between chess players and correct is, when she's laying in bed at night, looking at the ceiling, thinking about chess moves. I do that every night and have done that every night for the past 10 to 15 years, maybe more. Um, Obviously I'm not taking tranquilizers to do it, but yeah, I can do that, and it's what all chess players do. So that was one thing that was extremely well done. Just the way that they showed the world how that works. And other ways I think it's accurate are that, you sit down, you play your opponent, and every opponent that you play in chess is a different personality. There's little quirks that you learn about the people as you go. Even though you're sitting silently across from each other for the most part, you learn all kinds of stuff about people, and it's a really fantastic show in that way as well. And the hard work that you have to put in to be a good chess player is also conveyed pretty well in the show. So there's a lot of ways that the show is very accurate for how chess works and things like that.
I think one thing that's obvious, but she plays a female where she is a female, but she
Mm-hmm.
plays a high level chess player, and generally speaking, it's a male dominated kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your perspective on female chess players and how, because I know that they have their own tournaments sometimes, but then the open tournaments anybody can play, correct?
That is correct. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Um, my perspective on women in chess is that we need more of them, and we need women and girls in chess, not just women. And chess has not been very kind to women. I would say that the show does a really good job of showing that it is a male dominated sport, or mind sport, or whatever term you would use. But women were not treated well in chess, 40 years ago, and certainly before that. So that's one thing that was a little bit possibly not accurate in the show, but I think that it's good that the show didn't focus on that, because we want more women and girls to come to chess. And so I think that that was very well done. But I remember when I was growing up playing in a lot more tournaments than I do these days. Women were not anywhere to be seen at tournaments for the most part, unless it was like someone's mom or wife or something. But as far as the actual room where we were competing, it was like probably a ratio of 500 to 1.
Oh,
And that's just like in the serious tournaments. In the not so serious tournaments, it's probably like 20,000 to 1 nationwide, just in terms of the number of people who were men versus women who had joined the United States Chess Federation back then. Now that number is different, in a positive way. It's last I checked, which was in the middle of the summer, I think it was around 15% of women, or of chess players who were registered with the United States Chess Federation, who are either women or girls. So yeah.
so chess in the last 30 or 40 years. I played some chess when I was young. I haven't played, I'm 55 now, so I haven't played chess in 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
What is the popularity of the sport, and do you think that the Netflix series will increase the popularity, decrease the popularity? Do you have an opinion?
Yeah. I kind of joke about this with people. I'm not sure if it's an ill-timed pandemic or an ill-timed release of Netflix's show. We can debate on which one's the ill-timed part, but basically, I really hope that when we're on the other side of the pandemic in a few months, that people remember the Queen's Gambit and that their memory of that isn't short. Because right now, the chess community really can't reap the benefits of the show unless you own a .com or you are selling chess equipment. So like normally I run the largest tournaments in Kentucky, and so I would normally expect a show like this and the impact it's had to, get lots of people coming to my tournaments. But currently I can't run tournaments because of COVID-19. You can't genuinely socially distance and play chess at the same time. I mean, you just can't do it. People want me to run tournaments all the time, even though COVID's happening, but I just don't personally think it's a good idea. So we haven't run tournaments off the internet. We've run lots of online tournaments, but we haven't seen an uptick in that necessarily just yet. Of course, the show doesn't focus on that; it focuses on in-person chess. So,
Well, that leads me right to my next question, and that is, this series was set in the late 50s, early 60s, and if you wanted to play a game of chess with an opponent, you had to show up somewhere or write a letter and open the letter and make the move, etc. Technology has obviously changed the world that we live in, but it's also changed the world of chess. You can play a computer now. And would you say that the technology has helped chess or has it hurt chess? Because I would assume the computers don't have a lot of personality, and
True.
they're pretty hard to beat, I would think.
Yeah, I would say that it depends on your perspective. Like the everyday chess club goer, computers haven't done anything to chess for them. It hasn't hurt it or helped it. It's just there. At the top level of chess, computers have been phenomenal at improving how chess players at that level play. And, for somebody who's just starting out, what's a chess computer? They don't even know, so it's like, I think it really depends on the level that you're talking about. The most negative impact chess computers have had has actually been in the form of cheating at chess, because you can load up extremely powerful chess engines on a phone. And if you can hide your phone at a chess tournament, and believe me, people hide their phone in their shoe. They hide, like one guy, he took his phone, put it on silent, put it on the bathroom floor, and put toilet paper on top of it, because who's going to touch the toilet paper? And he would go to the bathroom and check his, phone to see what the best move was. And, people come up with all kinds of ways to cheat, and they generally are caught. But that's been the worst thing about technology in chess, is just the cheating has just become, I don't want to say rampant, because people go to chess tournaments all the time and cheating doesn't happen, but it does happen sometimes. And more often than not, it's because of a cell phone with a chess computer on it. But ultimately, I do think that the chess computers are a boon to chess. They've done a great job at showing chess players who love the game how to play better. And that includes me. I use chess engines all the time when I'm studying chess. I obviously I would never use them when I'm playing in a tournament, but after the tournament, I take my games and I load up a chess engine after I go over it, and I try to learn, like, oh, there's an idea that I missed that the computer just showed me. And another point I would make on that is chess computers are not as accessible to people as you might think. While you could find a free one online and use it all the time, just because it tells you the correct move doesn't mean anything unless you understand the context. So a good chess player can look at a chess move a computer is telling you to make and extract why it wants you to make that move. But without understanding why, it's just useless. So there is a degree of understanding that goes along with using chess computers to benefit you. So if you don't have a lot of chess understanding, you can say, yeah, they know the move and you can learn the move from them, but it's not necessarily super beneficial. So
Well, that's why the human element is still important. That's why you, as an
yes.
instructor, take someone like me, being the student, and you can show me the move, but then put it in the context for me and say, this is why this is an appropriate move, because 2 moves from now, this is going to free up a piece or free up a position for you. And like you say, you have to be a fairly advanced person to know that if the chess computer just shows you the move.
Right. It's like expecting to learn all of math from a calculator.
Right.
Unless you know how to use it and why you got to punch in what you're punching in, it isn't going to help you. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's a
great
good.
analogy.
Hmm.
Well, I did want to touch on Queen's Gambit just because it's kind of blown up and everybody's paying attention to it. But what we do here is we focus on health and wellness of people, and a lot of attention gets paid to physical wellness, nutritional wellness, and not a lot of attention gets paid to mental wellness. And as I was thinking about doing this interview with you, one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, in your opinion, chess being such a cerebral game, do you think it benefits people as they age with uh, potentially offsetting some of the age-related people get when they get older, just from something being as simple as forgetting where you put your car keys to age-related dementia? You think playing chess and playing it frequently is a benefit?
Absolutely. And your approach to it matters. That's the part that like a lot of studies that are done in chess miss this part, in my opinion. I've read a lot of them, and they mean well, and a lot of them have really fantastic conclusions, but they miss the point that you have to approach chess properly in order to gain the benefits. Just playing chess occasionally does nothing. That's like solving a puzzle sometimes. It doesn't do anything for you. Um, if you want chess to benefit you, especially in old age, you have to engage it regularly. You have to try your best to uh, build pattern recognition. The way that chess players traditionally build pattern recognition is they solve tactics puzzles. It might just be a checkmate in one move, and you have to find the checkmate, and you make the move, and that's it. Um, but you have to regularly engage it, play it, and really take steps that are genuine to improve. The beauty of chess, the most beautiful thing to me about chess, is that all it takes to benefit from it is to be serious about it. You don't ever have to become an amazing chess player and to get the benefits of chess. And that's what people don't know. That's what makes chess seem inaccessible. You don't have to be amazing like Beth Harmon to gain the benefits of chess. All you have to do is regularly engage it in a meaningful way that's honest, and you're not just, looking at the chess computer to tell you the move every time you don't know the move. That doesn't grow. But if you sit there and you look at the position and you struggle to figure out what the move, whether you figure the move out or not is irrelevant. It's that struggle is where you grow. And that's where I think, mental or the mental wellness effect of chess comes in, is because I think there's a genuine growth that happens in a person when they focus on something intensely, and chess requires intense focus. Again, if your ability to intensely focus is lower than my ability, it's irrelevant. All you have to do is focus and pay attention and try to learn the game. Try to find good moves, and it's the trying that gives you the mental benefits. It's not the actually succeeding at finding everything, finding all the best moves the first try.
Sounds a lot like exercise. So you're
Yes.
exercising your mind.
Yep.
One question that I will get asked, and I get asked this question about exercise, so I'll ask it to you about the mental aspect of chess. Some people feel that they're too old to start. They've waited too long in their life to learn to play chess. They've waited too long in their life to pick up exercise. And I tell those people it's never too late, and actually the benefits of exercise are greater the older you are to begin than if you started when you were younger. Do you think that applies to chess? Is it too old for someone to wait and start playing chess, or do you have people that
No.
are 90
It
that are going to start playing?
Right. No, you can start chess whenever you want. There are definitely demonstrable benefits to starting younger, but you can start whenever. Perfect example. I started playing chess when I was 3, but I didn't know about chess tournaments. Neither did my family. So I went my entire childhood not knowing about chess tournaments. Then I hit high school. I find out about chess tournaments. I go and I win. Had I started playing tournaments when I was like, say, 4 or 5, I probably would be a much, much, much better player. But I would argue that the benefits of chess that I have reaped in my life are equal had any of that actually happened. So you don't have to start chess early. You can start in your 70s and still benefit from chess. The key is to regularly engage it in a meaningful way and be serious about it. That's all it takes. You just, get a chess book, actually read that chess book, that kind of approach. That's all you got to do.
I'm interested to ask you. You said when we first started the interview that you go to a tournament and everybody has a different personality. They all have their own specific style,
Mm-hmm.
even though you may be sitting quietly across from them while you're playing your game. Is there some social benefits to chess, though? I mean,
Yes.
do you play with friends so that you're actually having conversation while you're playing the game? Can it be a social game, not just a cerebral game?
Yes. This is probably the biggest myth about chess, that it's an antisocial game. And what most people would never expect is it's actually an extremely social game. And I'll give you a couple of examples just because it would be great if we could break this stereotype with just even a few people. Essentially, when you go to a chess tournament, you sit down, first of all, you meet your opponent, you say, "Hi, I'm Ryan Velez," or whatever, and you shake their hand, and you sit down, and there's this 5 to 10 minutes of sitting across from your opponent before the game's allowed to begin. That's something that the show Queen's Gambit didn't show very well because it's a show. They don't want to sit there waiting and waiting. But yeah, you sit there for about 5 or 10 minutes before they say start your clocks, and you're just talking with your opponent or the people next to you, that kind of thing, and then you play the game silently. You cannot talk during the games. It's extremely rude. In fact, in the show, when one of the players shushes Beth Harmon and the guy standing by her, kind of in an aggressive way, so to say, he was correct to do that. That was actually correct. But basically, after the game, at the lower levels and at the moderate level, not at so much the top level all the time, although even with those guys sometimes, the number one thing you do is you say, "Hey, do you want to go over the game?" And whether win, lose, or draw, most of the time people say yes. I actually can only think of one time where somebody said no. He actually was a much, much, much better player than me. But he just said no, mostly because he was tired, I think. But yeah, he wasn't being rude. He just said no. But generally, you talk with them, and sometimes that's called the post-mortem. That's after the game. You just go through the game and say, "Hey, what did you think about this move? I thought about playing here, but I played this move because of this reason." And you just talk with them. And I have friends all over the planet because I played them in one chess game 10 years ago, and we just went over a game, and I know them now a little bit. And Facebook allowed me to connect with those people almost indefinitely. And so chess is an extremely social game. It's just not social during the game. But even so, there are versions of chess that you can be social during the game. Namely, local club tournaments where you have like a blitz tournament where you're playing really fast chess. People often don't care if you talk. You have to figure out the rules of your particular event that you're in. But yeah, I mean, it's an extremely social game. And the groups online are, I mean, I was just talking on Facebook in some groups online that are chess groups. I do it every day. I mean, it's one of the most social things in my life, and has been for many years. So yeah, definitely a social pursuit.
I've got a question. IBM created a computer that they named Deep Blue, and one of their theories was machine learning. Could a machine actually not only be programmed with software to pick out the best move based on a human move, but ostensibly to kind of figure out how you play and then it learn a way to play you better. And they said that once they had that kind of mastered, no human would ever be able to beat a machine. And they've proven that some of the best players in the world can't beat the best machine at chess. Is, in your opinion, is there a human that can beat the best machine just because of unpredictability, or is the machine just too good to beat?
Yeah, it's a hard one to say because I'm a very good chess player and I am nowhere close to the best chess players in the world. Just to give you an example, I'm in the top 1% of chess players. That's what my ranking allows me to say. But I'm the bottom of the 1%. So trying to empathize with what they can do is difficult for me. But my opinion is that the top players in today's society play like computers. That's a very well-known thing in the throughout the chess community. If you learn enough about chess, you'll learn that they play like computers. Now, can they beat them? I don't know. If it was a 100-game match, probably not. The biggest factor between computers and humans is stamina. Computers process, humans breathe. So it's just, and the other thing too is a famous rumination from Gary Kasparov, who played Deep Blue. He said one of the biggest problems he had with it was the computer doesn't remember, like it doesn't like if you're in this new game and you're not thinking to yourself, oh, that last game I should have played there. You like, so the human brain has that kind of a weakness to it. So ultimately, chess engines are better than humans on average, but I do think that the top players in the world, some of their best sparring partners are computers. And I don't think they'd be where they were if they were losing all the time. So yeah, I think that it's still up in the air, but probably advantage computers is what I would say.
Well, I would agree that they created a computer to play the Chinese game Go, and it has far more moves than the chess game
Right.
has, and it defeated the best Go player in the world, and they thought that was another step forward for the
Mm-hmm.
computer. Uh, Again, I'm asking from a point of ignorance, but when you're playing a chess game, let's say you are playing a computer or you're playing a very good person, and there's a lot of chess is one of those games where you can win or you can lose or you can draw.
Mm-hmm.
They draw a good outcome. Should all chess games end in a draw if you don't make any mistakes, or should there always be a winner? Should there always be a loser?
Yeah, that's always a debate, but I think it's pretty well founded that if both sides make no significant errors, it should be a draw.
Okay.
And that's what makes chess very interesting because and a lot of people don't like the idea of a draw or a tie. It's like, oh, it's kind of this anticlimactic thing. But the thing is, in chess, when you're playing, especially at the higher level, when you're playing against somebody and it's a draw, that's very meaningful. It means both sides, they were even, and it's really hard to do that. In fact, probably, I mean, if I don't know how many victories I have, but if, let's say I had 1,000 victories, I don't know how many, just 1,000 games that I've won in chess, playing in tournaments, I would say easily 250 of those were positions that should have been a draw that I won because my opponent didn't understand how to make it a draw. So it's not just that you can get a draw and you played well, you actually have to really know how to execute good moves. And because even in a drawn game, both sides have a necessity to make good moves. A lot of people think good moves occur when you beat players and win, and that is true, it does happen, but that also means there was a bad move. But in a draw, both sides are making good moves, and that's where the value of a draw is. So I don't see a draw as a negative result. In fact, most chess tournaments are won because somebody drew instead of losing. Losing is just way worse, in terms of trying to win tournaments. But yeah, if you draw one or two tournament or one or two rounds or one or two games out of say 5 to 7 games that you're supposed to play for the whole event, you can still win. So draws are actually really great. I think they're an unsung hero of chess, so to say. A lot of people don't appreciate draws as much as they probably should.
I want to circle back around the way that the Queen's Gambit ended. I think they left it as a possible they could do another season, or if they wanted to do another season. Do you hope that there's another something about chess out there, another either Queen's Gambit or something similar to that? Because it's their most popular show that they've ever done.
Yes, I really hope they do another series for it. I think that chess, one of the things that people, or one of the biggest sad things about chess is that there's this stereotype that you have to be smart to play, or you have to be young to be good, or you have to be a man, which is obviously not true. These are all things that are not true about chess. And I think anything that we can do to bring chess into the public sphere, it's going to make our country better. And I really mean that. I think chess gets people thinking, and I don't think enough people think in this country. So I think that it's just one of those things that, like, even it doesn't matter what your political background is, your beliefs, or anything. If you learn the basics of chess, the way you think is going to be impacted in a positive way. You're going to think more logically. You're going to, approach things a little more cautiously. Like the benefits of it are only good. There's nothing negative about it. And I think that if Netflix does another show, I really hope it's just as good, first of all, because that's great for chess. If it's not good, that's not good for chess, So I really hope that they do it again and make it even better if possible. And I think that they just need to show that chess is accessible to anyone. It's just as accessible as soccer. Soccer is the most diverse game in the world, and chess matches it evenly, in terms of diversity and accessibility. I mean, you just need a board, and you could make a chess set out of rocks if you want to. I mean, like, you don't even have to have a formal chess set to play chess. That's what's so great about it.
Well, I will. I've got one final question to ask you, but I will also give you a little snippet of positivity, or however you want to interpret this. But like I said, I've learned to play chess as a young person, and I asked my mother and father to get me Fidelity's Chess Challenger. And back in 1980, the computers were just becoming part of our world. I mean, that was the IBM PS1,
Right.
the Commodore computer. So, I mean, you had to write code in to get it to make an action. And they got me this Fidelity Chess Challenger, and I played it and I enjoyed it. Well, you go to college, things happen, and you don't play. Well, this movie, number one, made me want to interview somebody like you, and number two, I started playing chess again, and I really enjoy it. And so I hope that I'm not the only person that had this experience where you watched the movie and you thought, hey, I played a little chess when I was young. Maybe I'll play again, and I've really enjoyed it. So I hope that there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of people like me that have picked it back up again. So maybe you're going to see a huge influx when this pandemic's over to your business, and I hope you do, for people wanting to play better chess, and that's why they should come and see you.
Yeah, I really hope so. The sad thing about today, before this interview, what I was doing is I was actually closing down my chess center, and we have to find a way to reopen it. I think we will reopen it, but right now we can't play, and we're just losing money on paying rent on a building we can't go to. But yeah, basically what we want to do is we want to round up the community, hopefully get some support from the community, and open a chess center again in Louisville, Kentucky. Before the pandemic, we were actually looking to potentially open a second chess center. But because of the pandemic, we had to scale that plan back. But that's what I want to see happen, and just have people come out and play. That's what I want to see happen,
Well, we will help you in any way that we can. And I think that you will, like I said, I think you will see an uptick. So hopefully that'll help you. And then the last question, just to meet with me today. But let's take away something. What is the greatest lesson that a person can learn from chess? Just what would you say is the number one takeaway from learning to play chess?
Sure. This answer, I think, surprises people. And again, I think if you ask 1,000 chess players, they're going to give you 1,000 answers. But as a seasoned chess professional and a chess coach, I think the number one thing that we learn from chess is how to lose properly. And I think that, for example, there's a kid that I knew a long time ago. He was phenomenal at chess, didn't have to work hard at it, but eventually he just kind of dropped off of the radar and stopped playing chess. But I also know a kid who went to, I think it was five. It was 4 or 5. I don't remember, but let's just say 5 for drama's sake. He went to 5 tournaments, lost every game in all 5 tournaments, but he signed up for a 6th tournament where he finally won a game. That person still plays chess today, and it's just being able to handle loss in a constructive, positive way is really powerful mentally. It's really powerful for intrinsic motivation. It's really powerful for growth. It's most people don't understand how to properly lose, and it seems like a weird lesson to say that's the best thing that chess has to teach, in my opinion. But that's where all of the growth happens, and that's where everyone becomes a chess player. Once they learn how to do that, I consider them an actual chess player. So,
Well, that answer does surprise me, but at the same time, during this, I have a 20-year-old daughter, and I think that her generation gets knocked because they're considered to be snowflakes. They've been coddled. They don't
yeah.
have any hardships that they can point to pull experiences from. Uh, and in fairness, my daughter's been spoiled and she's had a lot of things handed to her. But that's your point, is that will teach some of those people how to
Yes.
think differently. You
Yes.
don't always get your way. You don't always win everything that you don't always get the participation trophy. Sometimes you do have to lose. And they did make that point in the Queen's Gambit in the very first episode, where he
Yes.
told her, this is how you resign. You don't go on. This is, you've lost. You graciously turn your king down and you resign. And
Right.
she had a hard time with it.
Yep. And that was absolutely correct. A lot of people do. And again, when she loses games later that were like really, really, really important games, but she loses them, it's heartbreaking every time. But the difference is, do you let it control you, or do you walk away from it with the lessons learned? And that is like I can name chess players, but I could name chess players who have not learned this, who play all the time. And the reason they don't improve is because they haven't learned that lesson. Even though it's been pointed out to them, they don't improve. And as someone who's in that generation of being called a snowflake all the time, yes, I agree. It's that's definitely comes up a lot. But learning how to lose is something I learned a long time ago and has not been an issue for me. But I always tell my chess coaches when we teach, we are in the business of teaching people how to lose, and that's very important. So, yeah.
Well, listen, I know you've got a lesson, and you've been so kind to spend some time with us today. Thank you, number one. Number two, all your information about how they can contact you and when you open up again, which I'm sure you will,
We will.
where you're located and all that contact information we'll put in your description. But again, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. And once you get open, maybe we can come and visit you and you can show us around and give me a lesson, and I will officially be the worst that you've ever taught.
No, that's not true. I always say everybody's a really great chess player, or they're learning. That's my opinion. It's just true. So I'll let you know when we open up again, because we definitely will. It's just we can't do it right now. Probably in August. That's probably what we're looking at. So,
Okay.
All right,
Ryan, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you on the next KAWP podcast.